the House of LeMay Makeup and Dressing Room.
Here comes Amber, stop what you're doing. Here comes Amber, she's just doing what she can. Here comes Amber, cue the spotlight. Here comes Amber with 2 drinks in her hand. The matriarch of fashion, from sequins to her glasses, you can't look away. Ask her, does she do it? There's really nothing to it. She's got that feminine gaze. If you have a party, or if you're feeling naughty, call up the House of LeMay. Here comes your favorite gal. Here comes your queen. Here comes the talk of the town. It's Amber Live tonight. The music starts playing. It's time for cabareting on Amber Live tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, please turn off all cell phones and get ready for your host, Amber LeMay.
Hello, hello, hello. Happy Pride Month. Yes, we're the second week in Pride Month. We got a couple more weeks and we got some great guests tonight to talk about it. All right, but you know what? Let's take a look at this week's headlines. We have a lot of ocean-themed news this week. Let's just say that most of these people are not having a Subaru summer. A New England man was swallowed whole by a humpback. And no, this is not a story about my first Pride Parade. Apparently, a lobster diver in Massachusetts was accidentally swallowed by a humpback whale that was feeding in the area. According to the diver, who suffered a broken leg, it was dark inside and there was a lot of pressure. Wow. On second thought, that really does sound like my first Pride Parade. Anyway, do you know what you call a group of sharks? They're called a gam, or a herd, or a frenzy, or a school, or a shiver. Yeah, you learn something new every week on Amber Live. Well, anyway, a group of hammerhead sharks encircled some swimmers. About 8 sharks swam around the floating human meat sacks, but then decided to leave. I think the sharks got lost, realized they were in Florida, and like any intelligent creature, got the hell out of there. Smart move, sharks. It's Florida. You don't know what's in that meat. Probably some Molly, maybe meth, definitely a Trump voter. You don't want that in your system. Oh, there's more. A vacationing British woman punched a crocodile several times in the face to save her sister. This happened in a lagoon in Mexico, which is already a problem. Apparently, the sister went swimming at night in the lagoon and was attacked by a hungry crocodile. Who swims at night in anything other than a well-lit pool? You don't go wading into the dark waters after sunset. That's where the monsters live. No, thank you. Sorry, if you're my sister and you make that choice, I'm not helping you. I'm going to be an only child and get ready for one less birthday present a year. Sorry, Maggie. In other news, a crocodile doing exactly what a crocodile is supposed to do gets the shit punched out of him by a mean tourist from England as he tries to enjoy dinner. Meanwhile, back in Florida, COVID whistleblower, scientist, and Governor Ron DeSantis' worst nightmare, Rebecca Jones, is challenging Matt Gaetz for his seat in Congress, which begs the question, how does Matt Gaetz still have his seat? Seems like an easy win. A scientist who told the public about the real COVID-19 numbers, and a cartoon chin who allegedly pays underage women to sleep with him across state lines. Well, but then again, it's Florida. The panhandle of Florida. We're talking Floribama here. Finally, some happy news. Earth gets a 5th ocean. National Geographic magazine has declared the area around Antarctica as the Southern Ocean, known for its cold waters, love of heritage, hatred of anything different, and believes Trump won 2020. One thing is for sure, because of global warming, the South will rise again. And that's this week's headline. Subaru summer. Already tired of that commercial, aren't you? All right, let's bring Russell in. We'll talk about what's happening on the show tonight. Hey, Russell.
Hey, Amber, how are you?
All right. Do you think we can get some money for Subaru since I sang that little ditty?
Sure. I'll send him an email right after the show.
Okay.
They'll probably charge us.
Oh, okay. We don't want that. We don't need that. Well, I know we've got some new viewers tonight because of our guests. So tell them where they should be watching the show.
Well, the best place to watch, and we always tell people this, is on YouTube, because over on YouTube, you can watch us at full HD, so you can see all the fine details of Amber's face. You're welcome to watch on Facebook or Twitch or anywhere else, but we do stream out to full HD on YouTube. And while you're on YouTube, we would appreciate it if you would like and sub and share.
I supposed to say that.
So hit the subscribe button and follow us on YouTube. And if you hit the little bell, you'll get notifications when we go live.
And we go live every Sunday, but also on Wednesday nights for Amber Chat. We've been doing that for like 24 weeks now. We have a great time. Last Wednesday, we got into this weird discussion about squirrels versus whales. Sharks. Squirrels versus sharks. That's what it was. More shark talk. And who would win? And it was just pretty funny. The comments that people had and their opinions on, would a squirrel win on land but a shark on water? It was just pretty funny. Let's see. But we do a lot of conversations. People get on. We had people like from 5 different states talking to us and commenting, and that was just a fun time. So every Wednesday around 8:15, we get on and we chat for an hour. Yes.
So Russell, I do want to take a moment to wish our good friend Janet Feeney a happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday, girl!
Birthday this week, and she is one of our super bustiers and also our marketing and creative and marketing consultant is her title on the show. And that brings me to the bustiers, and I do want to say thank you to everyone who helps us. If you take a look there, you'll see a list of our super bustiers, including Janet and her birthday, and the rest of the bustiers. And if you'd like to join the bustiers and help us out, you can send us your support using Venmo at RJD Pro right there. And any amount you can afford would be greatly appreciated. We do have different levels. If you give $25 or more, we'll send you a Amber Live sticker. If you give $100 or more, you get a sticker and a magnet. And for $200 or more, we'll send you a sticker, a magnet, and a mug from Amber Live. So thank you all to our super bustiers, our regular bustiers, everyone who supports the show. And it's Venmo at RJD Pro if you would like to help us out.
Yeah, it's great to see those names on that list because a lot of them, there's several of our good, loyal Vermont friends, but there's also people there from Tennessee, from Florida, from Illinois, from California, Massachusetts, New Hampshire. So thank you very much to everyone who helped support Amber Live. We really appreciate that. Yes, Rayal says he had a good time Friday night, and we've got a picture of that for later on. But Lucy Bell and I went out. It was Jazz Fest here in Burlington, and so we went up and down Church Street, stopped into several bars. It was the first time Lucy Bell and I had been together out in public for almost a year and a half. Since a year ago, February. And oh my God,
so,
it felt so good.
Enough time had passed that the bars were letting you back in.
Oh, they were so happy to see us, and the people in the streets were coming up and hugging us and just saying how much they enjoyed seeing us, and that they several said, "Oh, I watch your show. I watch your show." So that was
great.
Fun as well. So yeah, we had a great time. Thank you to our friends here in Burlington. So do we have a caption picture this week, Russell?
We do have a caption this picture, and if you have a funny comment about this picture, please send it in the comments to Jack so that later on at the end of the show he can bring them up and we can all have a good laugh. And there's our picture for the week. So if you've got a good caption for that, just label it as a caption and send it in the comments, and Jack will handle it from there.
I've got a few brewing around in my mind about that one.
I bet you do.
All right, and tell us about our guests tonight, Russell.
We have a lot of guests tonight, which is very exciting. We have all kinds of things going on this evening. First up, we're going to have Professor Laurie Greene on to talk about her new book. She's from Atlantic City, and she's got some great stories about a drag pageant that happens down there. So that's going to be a fun one. And then after that, we have Brian Downey, the president of the New York Gay Officers Action League, to come on and talk with you. There's been a little controversy this year with Pride, so he's going to come on and chat about that and teach us all from their point of view, I think. And then we have two of the people who started Cleveland Pride, and they're going to come on, and that's Gary Buck and Mike Bowl, and they're going to tell us how they got the Pride started back in, I believe it was 1989 in Cleveland. So it's going to be a packed evening of guests, and that doesn't even begin to touch on our regulars or irregulars.
Yeah, we got Rusty Peen and Rocco, and I think Rocco has a few surprises for us tonight too.
Yes, he does.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Russell. We'll catch you back later in the show.
All right.
Yes, it is going to be a fun night. Thank you for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it. As Russell said, our first guest is an author who's written a fascinating book about drag queens and the Miss America pageant. What do they have in common? Let's find out from Professor Laurie Greene. Laurie Greene, come into my basement.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Well, it's so good to hear and see you. So tell me about this book you wrote.
Well, the book is about a drag pageant that happens in Atlantic City and how it has co-evolved with the more famous sister, the Miss America pageant here in Atlantic City since the 1930s. And the pageant itself started in the 1990s as a response to the AIDS epidemic.
Oh, how fascinating. Mm-hmm. So tell me more about the drag pageant.
Well, the drag pageant started in a bar called Studio 6 in the Gayborhood in Atlantic City, which used to be a really hopping, vibrant neighborhood, 4 blocks of 15 to 20 bars, boarding houses, very condensed, where New Yorkers and people from Philly and even DC used to come down and party. Famous place. And all the local queens participated in it. The idea behind the pageant was that for some reason they missed the Miss America pageant. And it was always some contemporary reason. Like one year it was they went down on the Titanic, for example, when the Titanic came out. And there was always some reason. And so they had to have the pageant the next night because they missed it. And in the beginning, the winner was always somebody local. They got crowned with a Burger King crown and some dead flowers wrapped in old dirty newspaper. And it was a hoot, and they raised tens of thousands of dollars every year for one of the first AIDS activist organizations in the whole country called the South Jersey AIDS Alliance.
It was.
That was the beginning.
When AIDS came out, it was the drag queens who started raising the money for the causes. And so that looks like an early day one.
That's one of the first pageants. And in the gold there is the originator of the pageant, drag queen Sandy Beach. And so those are some of the as we call them, the original queens. And that's the stage. It was outside on the deck at Studio 6. Which is one of the 15 bars that was on that little street in Atlantic City.
Wow. So that's fascinating. So did you get any pushback from the Miss America people?
Well, that always happens. I mean, it's like, that sort of goes without saying. In fact, they weren't allowed. I'm so glad you asked that, because they weren't allowed to come to the pageant. And the thing that people don't understand is the Miss America pageant is a volunteer event. And the volunteers were all from Atlantic City. So this is one place on earth where they still love the Miss America pageant. And all of the people that work behind the scenes at Miss America, they came back every year, and they were all gay. The hairdressers, the costumers, the choreographers, all those backstage people. So they already hung out on New York Avenue. They would come to the show, but the contestants were banned. They weren't allowed by the pageant to come to the show. The first contestant that came was the contestant that, in fact, was from Brigantine, New Jersey originally. And also her platform was HIV/AIDS, and she broke the rules and came. And so that was, but by and large, Miss America sort of dissed the pageant. And one of the big ways they dissed it in what I call straight washing is the most famous part of the pageant is called the Show Us Your Shoes parade. Ooh. And in that parade, it used to be that the contestants went down the boardwalk. It was very demure. There's a picture of the parade today, but they would be in their evening gowns in the back of convertibles. And it was very fancy with their white gloves. And the drag queens would sit out on the two hotels where they lived in the corner of New York Avenue and the boardwalk and scream down at them, reading them, "Show us your shoes," because they had socks on and slippers inside the car. And they were told, don't let them harass you, don't let them fluster you. And then one day somebody lifted their foot up and they were screaming, and the Miss America pageant gave in, but not before they trademarked the term and said, never acknowledged what the history of how the Show Us Your Shoes got started was.
Oh, so, my goodness.
Yeah, a great story, and one that most people in Atlantic City even don't know.
So what got you interested in writing this book?
Yeah, by the way, this picture is Snake Alley. This is called Snake Alley because it was a street that wound around and conjoined all of the different streets that were in the neighborhood. But what I got involved is an interesting example of what an anthropologist does. We don't go into a research site with a question. We go in, we just, immerse ourselves. We call it embedded and embodied research. And then I happened to be working or volunteering at the pageant for my friend who was one of the producers. There I am. And I'm in drag also there. And what happened was the project presented itself to me. So you embed yourself and the research question presents itself. And this one hit me over the head like a sledgehammer. I just couldn't believe no one had seen the convergence of these two pageants coming together. And so that became my research project.
Wow. So you're an anthropologist.
Correct.
So where do you teach? What do you do with?
I do. I teach at Stockton University, which is in Atlantic City. Originally, we moved out. Now we're back. We have a campus back in the city right on the boardwalk. And I teach gender and the anthropology of embodiment, which means how you experience yourself in a body.
Oh, how fascinating. Is this your first book?
No, I have some books on yoga. You can see my pictures back here.
Oh, yeah.
A little sideline. And I also have a number of works on the use of language, which is also part of embodiment theory.
Well, how exciting. So Atlantic City, what's going on there? I know they tore down the last Trump casino recently.
Oh my God, was that a party? No, seriously. We had a big implosion party, and it was the middle of winter and the weather was crappy, but everybody was out on the beach cheering and drinking, which is pretty much what we do every day here. I love how when I say I'm from Atlantic City, people are like, oh, what's that like? And I say, it's fantastic. It's, who gets to be in a city on the beach? It's an actual city. We have amazing things that go on here. And it's probably the most resilient city on earth. Every time we collapse, people are like, oh, well, and they just stick to it and come back, and everyone's got a great sense of humor, and it's a wonderful place to live.
So what's the gay life now? You said there was all those bars in that couple blocks. Mm-hmm. I mean, everywhere in America, gay bars are closing, or have been closed. So what's going on with the gay life there in Atlantic City? Yeah,
we haven't been immune to that. And the gay bars on New York Avenue, pretty much disappeared as a result of a number of things. One of them being the casinos, wanted the land in order to expand, which they blew up all the blocks and they never did build there. But we still have a vibrant gay community. There are lots of bars, and the area there, which is now called the Orange Loop because it's the 3 orange properties on the board on a monopoly. Oh. So New York Avenue, Kentucky, and Tennessee, that whole area is being, built up again. And there's a lot of bars there that are gay friendly. And in fact, I bartend at one of them on the weekends in the summer.
Now you said gay friendly. I want to know where the gay bar is, not gay friendly.
There is literally no 100% gay bar. Our last gay bar, the Rainbow Room, closed down during COVID, or just before. Yeah, I think it was actually during COVID. But we're going to get another one. It's coming.
I hope so, because I miss a gay bar. Yes, I can walk this Friday night in Burlington, Vermont. I walked into 5-6 bars and hey, but I want to go to a gay bar.
I know. When people say to me, younger people, they're like, we don't need gay bars. We can go anywhere we want. And I say, oh, you're right. They don't need black churches. They can go to any church they want. No, not true. Like that. It's a good one. Yeah. Because gay bars aren't just for drinking. That's the least of what they're there for. That's our space. That's where our political action happens. That's where we meet. It's like it is the hub of gay existence, and we need them.
I agree. I really feel sorry for tourists who come to town, especially in a town like Burlington. You always look. We used to have Dameron guides. I remember those. I go online and say, "Oh, this is the gay bar," and everything. But now it's gay friendly, We
have a lot of drag shows and tea dances and things like that. But yeah, we need a gay bar to come back, and there's noise about it. I think it's going to happen. Good.
So what's your next project?
My next project is actually on a story that continues off of New York Avenue, about transgender drag queens. And I'm excited to start that as soon as the summer's over. But before that, I'm working on a special project for the Miss America pageant that's happening this year, October 23rd.
Okay. Oh, I just had a conversation the other day about transgender drag queens and what my opinion is of that. So we'll have to talk sometime about that.
Yeah, lots of controversy inside and outside of the community.
Yes, it is. All right. So plug your book one more time, Laurie.
My book is Drag Queens and Beauty Queens. It's from Rutgers University Press, but you can get it anywhere. And if you do read it, make sure you let me know. Come give me some feedback. Let me know what you thought. It's made so anybody can read it. I try to write for the people that I study. And so I try to keep the jargon at a minimum. And if you've never read anthropology, you may be surprised how interesting ethnography is.
Oh, thank you so much. Fascinating.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, come back and we'll talk more when the pageant gets closer, or if you have something else to talk about.
Love to bring some of the girls on to talk about it.
Bring them on.
Let me know.
All right. One of the books, one of the quotes, Sherry Vine commented about your book. Had some great things to say about Sherry did. And it was 12 years ago this week that we met Sherry down in Albany. And it was a year ago this week she was on this show. And she's been on a couple other times since then. But
icon is all I'm going to say.
Icon.
Yes. Of the first order, bow before her. The fact that she took the time to read my book and endorse it was I just died that moment. I didn't have to live anymore, really.
I know what you're saying. Well, thank you very much, Professor. Nice talking to you, and come on back sometime.
Thanks so much.
Yes, bye-bye. Very fascinating. Great. I can't wait to read the book and talk to her again about some of her projects. Really, really cool to find out what's going on elsewhere. All right. So last week he wasn't with us, and people were saying, what happened to Rusty? Did he fall in his bathtub or something? Well, I don't know what happened to him, but he's back this week. Let's find out.
Thinking and drinking with Rusty Bean. Good. Welcome to another edition of Thinking and Drinking with Rusty Bean. I'm Rusty Bean, and president of the Beaver Pond Guns and Alpha Society, and our mission is to arm more drag queens, cause a Lord drag queen is a safe drag queen, don't you know? Dude, it's time to get me something thinking and drinking, cause I do something I was thinking when I was drinking. So first thing we gotta do is crack the cellars open up, kind of champagne, bud. Got my champagne glass right here, got champagne can right here. There we go, dude. Here we go. Fire it up. Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Fucking volcano, dude. Yeah. Perfect fucking pour right here, dude. Yeah. Fucking got that fucker right. Nailed it. Release the carbonation just like you want it to be doing there, dude. Anyway. Okay, bud. Today we're gonna get in the world do it yourself because pandemic, a lot of people doing it by themselves. So, we're gonna find ourselves here a toolbox. Around here somewhere, everybody got a toolbox. Here it is, bud. Let's crack that puppy open, see what's inside. Now, all good toolboxes. Oh, no, somebody drank that already. That's the first rule. Always replace the beer in your toolbox if you end up drinking beer in a toolbox. Okay, all good toolboxes should have 4 essential items. You got fucking hammer for hitting shit. Fucking screwdriver for screwing shit. Fucking wrench for making shit tight, loosen your shit up. And a stud finder. Dude, fucking works every time, bud. Nailed it. You know what else ever good toolbox out of the house? Fucking shot of fireball, dude. Dude, it's time to get to work, get busy. Fucking world, do it yourself. Okay, bud. Let's start with the hammer right here. Quick and dirty anatomy lesson. See this part right here at the back? You know what that's called? The peen! Of course it is. It's the peen, bud. They also call it the claw. Cause this here's the fucking claw hammer, dude. Dude. This fucking right here, this is a screwdriver that can got like this dual drill bit. So you can go from Phillips flathead Phillips, going like 0 to 60 on an empty stomach, and suddenly take a shot of fireball and dude, you're fucking ready to go right there, dude. You know, it may seem like a simple screwdriver, simple thing, but you know, there was that famous fucker who said, simplicity. And that dude was Harley Davidson Thoreau. That fucker was Emerson, Lake, and Palmer. It was where Waldo. Huh. Dude, I got something special to show for you right here, dude. See what this shit is right here? Got fucking ratchet set right here, dude. You can loosen up your notch, you can tighten up your notch, dude. Any good ratchet set comes with, got this fucking handle for tightening and loosening up your notch. Dude, got this fucker right here. Got a fucking ratchet standard in case you got, you know, grab some nuts that are pretty fucking far away from you, hard to get your hands on them nuts. Okay, bud. Time for everybody else's favorite thing when we start dealing with tools. Fucking power tools right here, dude. Yeah, dude, so we're gonna do a fucking project right here, bud. What we can do is you take like a can of, you know, champagne right here, and you take a drill bit, and you just fucking punch a hole right there in the fucking bottom, dude, and then, you know, take a shot and go. Good, get your butt all shot, dude. You got it all set up squarely right there. Dude, fucking sweet, right, dude? Yeah. And then that's how you work with the power tools and make yourself useful in the trailer. Dude, fucking right. You know what you can do with this, dude? You can take a fucking screwdriver and screw shit out right there. Make a fucking hole. Take a fucking chamber right there and shit, dude. Make sure you pull the fucking stem out. Dude, get right there. Guess what we can do? We can bring that fucker from before. Check it out, dude. Use fucking drill. Light that shit up. Good. Using all the fucking techniques we learned today. Dude, that's all I got today on the show for Thing and Drink Rusty Peen. But before I go, I just want to say happy retirement to WCAX anchor meteorologist Sharon Meyer, dude. Sharon Meyer, she been reporting on news for like fucking shitload of time and she's really good at it. So good job, thanks for all your hard work and shit, dude. Dude, see you next time on Thinking and Drinking. I'm Rusty Bean.
Thinking and drinking with Rusty Bean.
I was waiting for blood to spurt out at one time. He's our fireball dude. That's Rusty B. All right. Hey, Russell.
Oh my goodness. You never know what Rusty's going to do.
Or say, or understand what he says.
Understanding is the first step.
Oh my goodness. Oh my God. So coming up, we still have Brian Downey from the Gay Officers Action League of New York City, and also Gary and Mike from the originators of the first Cleveland Pride, and Rocco. So we still have that coming up for the show. So I'm looking forward to that. So let's see what else we want to show that picture. Again.
Yes, there's our caption this picture. If you haven't sent in a caption yet, do it now. And we'll bring them up at the end of the show and get some good laughs, hopefully.
Oh, I think we will. I think we will. All right. And one more beg.
Well, first, I do want to say thank you to all our bustiers again, and remind people that if you'd like to help us out and support us, you can use the Venmo at RJD Pro. And it is important to keeping the show going, 64 episodes and continuing. So we really do appreciate that.
What's the money go for? Well, this platform that we use, we have to pay annual fees for that, and some other technical aspects. We do some promotion. We have to go out and look for people to interview, and that costs some money. So so that's where it goes.
I promise none of it has gone to Amber's vodka. She supports her own habit.
Yes, I do.
Another way you can help out is by going to our store, and we have a picture of our good friend and super bustier Rial, who was spotted out the other night in his Amber Live shirt, or I think it's a sweatshirt, possibly.
Yes, it was a sweatshirt.
Thank you, Rial.
Yes, Rael walked around Burlington with us. He's a great supporter of Amber Live and the House of LeMay. He's responsible for most of our jewelry that we wear, and he's just a great guy. We really appreciate his friendship and his support there with the Amber Live sweatshirt.
So, and if you want to find out a little more about the store, here's a quick word from Rusty P.
What's up, bud? This is Rusty Bean here. Dude, have you checked out the Amber Live merch shop lately? Dude, I'm here to tell you, you should. Because you can see me, Rusty Bean, on the side of a mug. You can get Rusty Bean thinking and drinking so that you can do some of your best thinking when you've been drinking. Dude, you know what this calls for? Shot of Fireball. Shot of Fireball. Dude, morning coffee, evening coffee, anything tastes fire is better for Fireball. Straight no chaser, bud. Anyhow, any time of day, it's always good. Dude, while you're at it, you should check out all the other merch they got too. We got towels, we got shirts, we got hats. Dude, we even got some pillows, bud. But dude, careful when you do that. Don't want you farting on my face, bud. I know that Pappy Pino always used to say, Rusty, a fart is just a cough inside your pants. But dude, I can't be having a face on a pillow if you're just gonna be stanking it up all the time. Dude, you should order some now while the fight's still here. Otherwise, they're all gonna get scooped up before you know it, bud. Yeah?
You got that, dude? You got that? All right. So in honor of President Biden's first visit to our European allies, this week, my top 5 is the top 5 things I would do if I were visiting our allies in Europe. Number 5, I'd slap France's president, but not in the face. Did you see where a protester slapped him? Number 4, I'd ask the Queen of England what really happened with Meghan. Queen Mom? Number 3, I'd schedule a sit down with Putin, but then totally ghost him to hang out with Angela Merkel. And number 2, I'd win Eurovision. You know I would. And the number one thing I'd do if I were visiting our allies in Europe is I'd high five everyone because Trump is gone. Yes. Did you see how relieved they were to see Joe? Yes, very good. All right. So, it's Pride Month. And I know everywhere Pride Month comes up, there's always controversy. It's like the queens just have to wait till June to stir things up. And so tonight we got someone from New York City to talk about some of that. And that's Brian Downey with the Gay Officers Action League. Brian, come into my basement.
Hey, how are you?
Hi, Brian. Nice to see you. All right. So first of all, tell us about your organization goal.
Oh, the Gay Officers Action League was founded in 1982, originally to support active duty retired LGBTQ law enforcement officers and criminal justice professionals to address their unique needs in that space to carve out a safer and better space for them. Since then, we've evolved a little bit to and we have an education component providing sensitivity and awareness materials to our non-LGBTQIA plus counterparts in the law enforcement criminal justice fields. We serve as policy advisors as both best practices inside of the employment space, but also working with the community at large. And finally, to promote a positive relationship with our community. So here we are, almost 40 years later. So we're coming up on the 40th anniversary of Goal next year.
Very good. And what's your position with the organization?
I've been the president since January 1st, 2016. So it's been
no one else wants it.
That's an interesting question. I'm actually trying to bring some other people up now and kind of put them out in the media, in the public eye, to kind of see how they feel interacting in that fashion and seeing what they can kind of do on their own and letting them thrive right now, because I think that it's always important for the organization to remain current, to have some people with new ideas come up and be able to implement them. So it's an exciting time for me, I think, to look to the future and kind of see what our leadership is going to look like next. So
very good. You're planning ahead. I'm sure you're a good mentor. All right. So Pride celebrations coming up in New York City, the last Sunday of June every year. And they let it be known that they didn't want police officers involved, or what was their statement there?
Well, I think the statement was, there's been a call to remove police from Pride for a number of years. This isn't something that's new to the United States. Started kind of in 2016 in Toronto with the stoppage of the march in Toronto and the kind of forcing of the organizers to sign a document stating that there could be no more police presence in Pride, no more exhibitions, no more tabling, no more recruitment. And there has been attempts in recent years to kind of have that happen here in New York City, and now it finally has happened. So here we are. I think it is very important. First of all, it's very important to our folks to be able to express themselves as people that go into a system and try and affect change. I think that we have been somewhat successful in our history in affecting change, both inside of law enforcement as a whole. So many of our people, because the NYPD is this massive employer in the region when it comes to criminal justice and public safety people with those career ambitions, it makes sense that we would have the largest demographic in our organization from the NYPD. But also, what's important though is that the work that we do inside of the NYPD, when it comes to policy, when it comes to public interaction, when it comes to outreach, that gets looked at both across this country and around the world. And people look at we weren't the first, when you look at the NYPD, to have kind of an internal process for people to transition while at work. We weren't the first, but we got it done here. And I worked very closely with Julie Callahan of the transgender community of police and sheriffs. And she's out on the West Coast, and Julie sent me policy that she had that had been implemented, let's say, in the San Diego County Sheriff's Office or the LA County Sheriff's Office. I'm not I'm not in that West Coast space right now. I wish I was for a little bit. It'd be nice to get away for a few days, but to have that work done out there, to bring it here, to say to the NYPD, look, you're supposed to be a global leader. This is what's going on elsewhere. Why aren't we? It's a shame we weren't the first, but we need to catch up. And the NYPD listened and they did it. And I think that now that work is kind of looked upon by other people in the law enforcement, the criminal justice community. Hey, this is what NYPD is doing. Why don't we have this? We need to get this. So that was important. In 2012, the patrol guide for the NYPD was implemented to have better interactions with the transgender community, from everything from pronoun use to the way prisoners are lodged, and some of that was a whole big mess before that it had been implemented. And has it been, an overnight change? I don't think so, because you're talking about generational differences. I think we kind of live in a binary world, whether that's right or wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that we do. And I think as we keep going with these policies, we keep going with instruction, we keep going not only at the recruit level when people first come into agencies, but continue it going along with supervisory ranks. And we're now also doing people that have a public interaction as part of the uniformed agency. I think that you will see a continued improvement, if not a drastic improvement now, as these issues become more well known in all walks of life, in all corners of society. We were doing that work kind of before a lot of other people were. And the one thing about those 2012 changes is, the sad part about it, you look at what's going on right now, is everybody was at that table. Chris Quinn, who was the former city council speaker in New York City, she really put that working group together. That included Dole. That included, the Anti-Violence Project. That included the Civil Liberties Union. Everybody was kind of working together, and I think that more happens when we work together. So when you have this movement right now to take us out of the equation, for many of our folks that means a lot of different things. To some people, if you look at me, and I hate to personalize, but I wasn't out until I actually came into the law enforcement space. I was out after a couple of years in my fraternity, but the college campus is a safe space, right? We want our educational institutions to be these places where ideas can flourish and where people can feel safe. But the moment I got off that campus, the faster I ran back into the closet. It wasn't until I came into the police department, I found out about Goal. I was immersed with people that had done great work. When you look at Edgar Rodriguez, probably the most hard-charging president we've had in quite some times. Our immediate past president, Carl Locke. Carl Locke ran the David Geffen AIDS Project at the Gay Men's Health Crisis before he was a cop. He was the director of client services at the AVP. He was an accomplished social worker. Could have went out, and he went into this system to change it. And I'm lucky enough to count that guy as a best friend. And you look at these people that did these legendary things, like sue the police department so queer cops could breathe the same air as everybody else. And I talk about Fran de Benedictis and Colleen Meehan, these wonderful, wonderful people. And I was so lucky. And, 2009 was my first Pride. It was my first Pride ever. I would have volunteered to help you paint your house, in Pennsylvania, before I would ever stand there with a rainbow flag. And I got to learn about the history of the community. I got to learn about drag queens. I got to learn about House and Ball. And I felt such a relief, and that such a pressure was released from my shoulders. And that's why I'm so passionate about goal, and I'm so involved. It's because I felt that something was given to me, right? I felt like, and I need to give back. I can't just take all this love, all this understanding, all this knowledge, all this wisdom, and just keep it bottled up inside of Brian. I was scared out of my mind the first time I marched on Fifth Avenue about the broadcast, about my family, about who's going to see me, about the other cops, Michael Dye, who we just lost a few weeks ago to 9/11 related cancer, was a New York City police detective, and he, there were times that morning where I wanted to go home, and it was Michael with his hand on my shoulder, the whole time, and just this is your space. This is for you. Don't worry about it. Don't look at them. I mean, I'm Irish, and I have Irish descent, and I'm usually as white as the wall, a freshly painted white wall, and I was extra white that morning. We get on the route, and I had Mark Rodwando, an Asian police officer who's now a lieutenant in the NYPD Aviation. And I had him to my right, and over my right shoulder, I had John Hayes, who's a New Jersey State Trooper. And I'm thinking to myself, when I grew up in Bayonne, New Jersey, which I could walk out my front door and look at right now, and that's a place that might as well be 5,000 miles away, right? It's a place you might as well be able to have to take a plane to get to. And the New Jersey State Police are probably not at the time what we would declare a forward-thinking or progressive agency. And I'm like, wow, that's a New Jersey State Trooper. And he's carrying a rainbow flag, and all these people just gave so much to me. And I
all right, Brian. Okay, Brian. So what's the objection? What's the objection of having? I know it happened in Toronto. It's happened in Burlington, Vermont too. That people have asked the police not be involved.
Talk about the objection. The objection is that the police are triggering to BIPOC community, to to people that don't look like me, and I can certainly agree to that. I have been very forthcoming with my opinions, and I've shared them publicly for years, and I've shared them with the highest levels of leadership in the police department that communities have had a very difficult and hurtful experience at the hands of the criminal justice system. Not just the queer community, but communities of color. And I've worked very hard to even get my white police counterparts to kind of understand the experience of someone that doesn't look like us. You don't know what it's like to walk into a store and have people follow you around like you're going to rob the place. Yeah. You don't know what it's like to have a group of people cross the street, from the sidewalk that you're on, because they're just that uncomfortable in sharing the same space with somebody that doesn't look like you.
All right, so our police won't be there for protection. I would think that, how many hundreds of thousands of people are expected that day? Won't there need some sort of security,
Well, let's look at that. Okay, so that's really that's the NYPD's house. That's not really the house of goal. To really met out with these organizers. I don't think that that's a very realistic thing that is going to be accomplished. And that brings us back to why this is another sad moment for Gold, because we feel that we were, not that I think we are, but we were kind of treated as the low hanging fruit. We can just get rid of these folks, and we know we still have to have the other folks there. So what message does that send to people in your own community? There's always going to be an argument. I did a New York Times podcast with one of their organizers recently called The Argument, and I'm saying to myself, why are we arguing? I don't understand. We're part of the same community. My members are part of the same community. That experience that I had, that I shared with you, that is a very, very common experience for people. There's people that have transitioned as police officers. They bring a struggle. It's not mutually exclusive.
Right.
They bring the struggle. They bring everybody has a coming out process. Everybody has internalized homophobia. These are things that we all have, and I think it's important that we wear those uniforms so when people see us, they know who we are. You can put anybody in a t-shirt and anybody in a polo shirt, but I think that we go into this system and we rock the foundation. Our mere existence is important, because systems don't change without people having folks work from within to affect that change, as well as people on the outside. Both, there's a yin and a yang here. Both are important, equally important. So when we march with those uniforms on, people get incredibly loud. They get loud. I can remember some of my earliest experiences walking down Christopher Street with that uniform on, and it's deafening. The noise level that it gets deafening. I can remember reading people's lips. I had this young, almost militant lesbian, and it's so loud that you can't hear what she said. But when she saw me and we locked eyes, all I heard was "fuck yeah," that's what she said. And how awesome is that?
So, will you be at Pride? Will you be there as Brian Downey? Will you be there as president of Goal? Will you be there as officer or captain or whatever your rank is?
I'm a detective, but I think, well, this year the Pride is virtual anyway, and we didn't participate in a virtual Pride last year. We weren't going to participate in a virtual Pride this year. It just wasn't, there were other things that we were doing. Our attention has been in a lot of different areas right now, especially we do have some initiatives that we've been working on for the last year with the police department, and we're hoping that some of that work gets out there soon. I have a meeting on that tomorrow. So, we will not be there this year, but we do want to wish everybody that's participating in whatever Pride means to you. If that means being part of the Queer Liberation March, we hope you have a great day. We hope you have a safe day. We hope that you have a liberating day. If you're part of Heritage of Pride, if you're part of any other, community or municipality or state in this country and around the world, we wish you a very, very happy and safe Pride.
Well, thank you so much, Brian. Let's show their website one more time, Russell. The Goal website. There it is, and you can find out more information. Do you have merchandise for sale at that website?
Yes, we do, and we have some new stuff coming in the next few weeks. And we're actually gonna. That's another meeting I have tomorrow is to work on some changes to the website and work on some changes to social media. So my good friend Anthony Nuccio and our corresponding secretary, Sally Polizzi, we're going to have tacos tomorrow afternoon and hopefully some margaritas too.
Okay.
That was very interesting. I must say that the apple, I knew about the tin can. We were instructed on the tin can by a guy his name was Jose, and we used to call the tin can. It was a tin Jose, and I really hope that when I retire, now that everything is legal, I have some years to go, about six and a half years. But I think the apple is very interesting, and I wonder if it changes the flavor. So
Well, you come up to Vermont, we have wonderful apples up here and some pretty good green too. Brian, thank you so much for joining. Happy Pride, Brian. Thank you for what you're doing. I know this is a difficult time, but thank you. Thank you, Brian. Yes. All right. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's a tough subject to talk about. What do you think? All right, so Pride. Yeah, he's talking about, Stonewall happened back in 1969, so it's been around for a while, but that was just in New York, and that was a riot. It took a while for things to spread out through the rest of the country, and finally, Pride hit Cleveland, Ohio, and we've got two of the founding members of Cleveland Pride. We have Gary Buck and Mike Bowl. So, hi, guys.
Hi, Amber.
Hello
Hi,
there.
Amber.
So what year was the first Cleveland Pride?
Our actual first Cleveland Pride was in 1989.
1980.
It was June 18th on Father's Day.
All right. So why wasn't there one earlier? I mean, that's 20 years after Stonewall. What took so long?
It was, I don't know. It was just a long process at the time. Mike and I had gone to, we were delegates for the March on Washington in '87. And a couple years later, we heard some actually more rumors, and talk between two of the actual founders of Martha Pontoni and Drew Carey, which isn't the television personality. It's a different Drew Carey. And they were talking about trying to organize a Pride celebration for Cleveland. Every June, excuse me, every June, it's like our gay community fell off the face of the earth because they were going to Columbus, where they were having a great celebration down there. We've been to a couple of times. So they decided, instead of everybody going there, we need to keep our community here.
Yes.
And try to bring more here than going to Columbus. So that started the whole process. So they wound up with a group of people that had started getting the ball rolling. And then Michael and I joined in with them. And we started our first Pride, like I said, was on Father's Day in 1989. We had a small, if you want to call it a march, from downtown across the bridge to West 29th Street from downtown Cleveland. But our first actual Pride march parade of volume was not until the following year in 1990.
Yeah, people had to see, okay, what's going to happen here? Is anybody going to get shot, or who's going to show up? So yeah,
yeah, we had, and we had to have before we were able to do it, have this our Pride event. We had to have security set up. That was, we were told you can't do this unless you have security, which was a good thing we did, because we had a group that tried to get in, called, it was the National Man Boy Association, which is exactly what it says. And we said, no, this isn't who we are. This isn't what we don't want part of this. And they marched them back out. Well, they didn't even get to the gate. They just marched them right back the other way and said, just keep on going. But we had a very successful pride. And since that time, I mean, it's grown it's just really grown.
Great. So Mike, what did you do that first year? How did you contribute?
Well, I and Gary were booth coordinators. I was in charge of all the booths, who was going to go where. And you would think that would be really easy, but me as a kid, I heard like this group and that, well, they were lesbian, and it was just, hey, we knew what to do, So being a booth coordinator wasn't exactly easy, but it was a fun task. And I got to tell you, looking back to those pictures just breaks my heart at seeing some of them. It's been so long since we've seen them.
So have you participated in Pride? Have you participated in any of the Prides since then?
Not as volunteers, but Gary and I set up a chicken steak stand at the one Pride because they moved us from downtown Cleveland. Well, first we were on West 29th Street. Then he moved us to downtown Public Square. And that proved to be more challenging. Then we were in everybody's face. But I got to tell you, the Dykes on Bikes, they were the best security system anybody could have. They were very polite and handled business.
And nobody messed with them.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Luckily, we've always had a peaceful Pride. Columbus, not so much. We even had problems with Columbus at one time. But I think the organizations that are out that was doing the gay sensitivity, they called it. I called it being human, but they went through all this gay sensitivity and actually became valued asset and marchers with us. So you just never know what you're going to do at Pride Festival and who you're going to touch.
And back when you guys were doing this, and I know it's the same way here in Vermont for many years, it was just volunteers just doing it, putting it together, trying to raise some money, to pay for expenses, but spending a lot of your own money. And now in a lot of big cities, it's a big business. And they get the corporations just, throwing money, and they're going, oh my goodness. It would have been a lot easier with some of that back then. I'm sure.
I don't think Gary or I would do a Pride if we were paid. It wouldn't be the same.
I agree. I agree. It's lost a lot.
Drag queen always, Toys for Tots, name it. They've always been there. Pride. Miss Rita Ray, wherever she may be, you still owe me a set of these. We worked together.
Yeah.
And got to know so much about each other as a community. These kids nowadays, they don't know what Pride is.
I know what you're talking about.
They don't even know what they are.
That's, yeah.
Well, I would hope that the Cleveland Pride organization would look upon you guys and invite you back sometime to give you an honor, because you were there at the beginning. And you know what? I always say, we're still here, and because of the work that you did, those kids who may not know what Pride is, they have the opportunity to have a good time because of the hard sacrifice that you and the people like you all over the country have done. So thank you very much. I do want to say that Gary watches us on Amber Chat every Wednesday. And one time we were talking about what our favorite cocktail was. And I said, I'm a vodka soda person. And Gary says, well, he does vodka and Fresca. And I said, oh my goodness, I haven't had Fresca in so long. So what did I get in the mail? A 6-pack of Fresca from Gary.
And I got mine.
All right. Thank you. Guys, thank you so much. And we'll talk to you Wednesday night. Thank you. Thank
For
you
sure.
very much. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much. Yes, that is so great. You know, pioneers. That's what they were. They were pioneers for their time. And again, those people in Cleveland owe them a lot. Wow. Very good. All right. So what's Rocco up to this week? Let's find out. Is he live?
Hey, Amber, how you doing?
Now, where are you, Rocco?
I'm at the wonderful Hotel Napoleon. Can you see the sign? There it is.
Yes, yes.
How do you work this thing?
Pretty good.
In downtown Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh my goodness, how cool. So what you been doing in Memphis?
You know, checking out sites, eating ribs and stuff, drinking lots of alcohol, riding on boats, and hanging out with my new friend. Check it out.
How y'all doing?
It's Rocky.
How are
Hey,
you guys?
Rocky.
Rocky
Happy
and
Pride
Rocco.
Month. Happy Pride Month, babies.
Oh, thank you, Rocky. Appreciate that.
Yes, we're having a good time with Rocco here. We're showing them some good Southern hospitality, sugar.
Well, good. Hey,
Good time.
Rocky, a couple of months ago, we had people on from Memphis who put the first drag show together in Memphis.
Yeah, now that would have been at George's probably years and years ago.
It was some little theater, but they did a great. It was hidden, you know. It was like almost a Halloween show, but it was really a drag show.
Well, but right now we're in full tilt Pride Month here too. So I tried to go to the drag brunch today, but it was too damn hot in there.
Okay.
It was a drag. We actually had it's so hot. It's 98 degrees heat index here today, and so it's it's hot.
Okay.
I'm not used to this, all right? You know, I need some for my drinks.
Right, a whole bunch of it.
Okay. Well, thank you, Rocky. So, Rocco, did you talk to anybody else down there?
I
Good to
did.
see you
Well,
all.
let me just tell you before you see. Thank you, Rocky. He's great. If you come down to Hotel Napoleon in Memphis, you'll see Rocky. He takes care of this place, and he's freaking amazing. So yeah, he's not the only one I saw today. You're going to be kind of amazed by who I saw today. I think Russell might have some video on that one. Hey, Amber, what's happening? It's me, Rocco Zamboni. I'm here, and guess where else? I am here in Memphis, Tennessee. That's the Peabody Hotel, which we're on the roof of right now. It's where those ducks march and shit. Anyway, enough about the ducks. Look who I'm with. Ron and Karen Gephardt, huh?
Hey, Amber. How you doing?
Hey, say hello.
Amber, you sent me a friend.
Yeah.
My only friend.
I'm so sorry, Ron. I'm so sorry.
I am too.
Amber used to be.
Amber's, you know, you gotta pull up the slack a little bit, Amber. Make some phone calls, send some letters, email, something. Maybe you'll get some ribs out of the deal, huh?
Hey, anytime. Come on
right.
down.
Yeah, so I fully recommend Memphis. It's quaint, quiet, but it's awesome. There's some cool things to see. I'll be doing more stuff and checking it out, and I'll be sending you a video next week on that. But today, this is what you get. The Gephardts and Rocco together, huh?
Yeah, that's right.
That's what I call a damn good show.
1999. So we've been together for a long time. Hey guys.
Oh, look.
Ron and Karen Gephardt are two of our best fans. They're bustiers. And yes, they bought the house. Yes.
They were awesome. I loved hanging out with them.
They're good people. They're very good people.
I'd come back to Memphis just to hang out with them.
Oh, good. I agree. That's a great place. So, any other plans for Memphis while you're there? Are you
Yeah, we're going to go to Graceland tomorrow and see what we could dig up in the way of Elvis. And I might buy a toilet seat down here. They got them in the shape of guitars and stuff. I hope there's no strings on it, though.
No. Well, Rocco, you look good. You look like you're almost relaxed. You know,
I am relaxed. Let me tell you. I can't use this phone though. This is a little weird. So, anyway,
All right.
everyone say goodbye.
Bye, Rocky. Bye, Rocky.
Y'all come down and see us in the South.
Bye, Rocco.
Bye, guys.
All right. Oh, Rocco and the Gepards. How nice. Yes, they watch every week and we appreciate that. All right. So who do we have? What's up next? Let's bring Jack in, find out what's going on with Jack.
Here
Hey,
I
Jack.
am.
Yes.
Hey.
Hey, we got to remember that the apple that Rusty Peen was using, was news to a New York City cop. So,
He seemed to enjoy it. I think that he got a kick out of what was happening in that Rusty Peen video, whether or not we could understand what Rusty was saying.
all right. So how'd the comments been tonight?
We had a few good ones. Not too much. I think that people were just sort of fascinated with the interviews that you had going on, but we did have some good comments. Russell, let's see the photo again.
So I got a message from Shar in Sacramento, and she said, "Miracle Grow isn't just for plants." That's her caption.
It'll make anything grow.
Thank you, Shar.
We have Lilith who says, "That's concerning." Sounds like you should probably see your doctor about that.
Yes.
And I'm not sure if this was caption related, but I'm calling it caption related. And Two Toad says, "Don't worry, Amber. The beauty filter is on in HD tonight." I think that was caption related, so we're going with that. And Lucy Bell, I think she says caption, but she says captain and says, "Go down already, damn it." And Ron, speaking of Ron,
who we just saw.
Yes, and we just saw a video about Ron. It says, "Dong gone."
Didn't I see Cousin Craig had one too?
Yeah, he did just post one. Phew, everything's present and accounted for.
I thought maybe he was looking for a new place for a tattoo.
You only got so much space after a while.
Yes, this place for sale. All right, Russell, come on in. Is Russell coming in?
I'm not sure.
Oh, well, maybe
I had to get rid of the picture.
Click on all the things.
Well, thank you very much, Russell. That was a great show.
That was a great show. Some wonderful guests, some amazing information, a lot of fun. I hope we can get Laurie back with some of her friends sometime.
Yeah.
I think she knows some interesting people down in Atlantic City.
I think there might be some characters around.
We might have to head down there and do a show from Atlantic City. Maybe Rocco and I will go down.
That would be an interview. She seems to know nothing but interesting people.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would. Well, that's just great, Russell. No, great guest tonight. That was very, very fascinating. So what do we have coming up next week?
Next week, we have drag queen Lady Sabrina, who I believe is from Worcester, Mass. I may have that.
Worcester.
Worcester. And where one of my favorite stores, Spags, is. I don't know if they're still there, but you used to go to Spags and they had big signs up that said things like Spags has no bags and closed on Sunday to serve you better on Monday. It was sort of a discount place, and the guy who owned it was a little crazy, but it was a huge place. It was kind of fun. So she's coming on to talk to you about her career as a drag queen, and then we have Carly Haven from Rutland, Vermont, who's going to come on and talk about the Pride that's happening in Rutland, and also the Pride Car March that they have, which I believe starts in Rutland and heads off across the state somewhere.
Oh, that'll be fun.
And I think I just froze.
Your audio is still good. We can still hear you.
Turn your air conditioner up.
Well, now we can't hear you at all.
No, I couldn't hear you. I froze.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for a good show. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All right. So, yes. All right. So, last week, the House of LeMay lost a very good friend. Over the years, the House of LeMay, we've performed. Cousin Craig has been our accompanist for 25 or more years. But we also play a lot of times with a 4-piece band, plus Craig, and they're called the Decoys. And the guitar player for the Decoys, Rob Root, there he is in the white shirt, there he is, passed away last week at a very too young of age. And he was just a pleasure to be around. He wrote some great songs for us, and he just loved playing, not only with the Decoys, but with the House of LeMay. There they are at one of the drag balls. There they are at a Blueberry Farm that they play every year. And it just, there they are at Bob's 60th birthday party. They played some songs for that too. So it's just tough, when you lose someone like that. And he meant a lot to us. And we're going to miss you, Rob. Rob Root, you were so cute. Well, come back next week. I'll be here. Hope you will be too. Bye-bye.
Why did Amber cross the road?
To get to the other side.
Yeah, sure. But why does she keep coming back?
Because she needs more vodka.